My name is Matthew Marji. I proudly lead security at Narvar. If you've ever purchased an item and wanted to track your package delivery, complete a return online, you've likely used the Narvar platform. My role at Narvar consists of two areas. The first one being information security, like really focused on customer data, PII, compliance. And then you kind of pivot and you kind of think about the security of the products that we offer, the application and the infrastructure.
What are you struggling with the most? What is most difficult about your role for 2024?
They're trying to dwindle down the right tool for the problem we're trying to solve. I probably receive on average, let's say like 8 cold calls a day, 4 to 6 LinkedIn messages, a heaping full of emails regarding like our tool is the best in this area and this is the reason why we're the best. And there's a lot and there's just not enough time in the day to like review everything and determine like, is it applicable, is it not? And it doesn't feel like an even playing field anymore. So in the past, it's led me to go to trusted sources such as Garner to determine, who is standout in an area. But unfortunately, that misses out on a lot of vendors potentially. And so Sagetap was like the perfect platform to kind of know what the vendor is looking for and what I'm looking for. And we can have that quick dialogue asynchronously to see if there's a match there. And then we could really dive in to get to know if there's that fit and continue conversation or not, depending on how I felt that went. And it was, quick and seamless. And I feel like no matter what, I had essentially walked away with either a connection or something that I've learned about that platform as a differentiator versus others. We've actually taken a couple of companies and continued conversations.
Are there any that come to mind that really excite you?
There's two that come to mind. The first one undoubtedly is Secureframe. So it can become pretty overwhelming with compliance frameworks and making sure you have all the evidence and have the ability to remediate any issues. And that's only the start, right? Then you have requirements to do things like training, to remediate any open issues, to provide maybe a trust portal for other businesses that are asking questions about your compliance standards or your information policies. Typically, you'll find separate tools for each thing that you have to go out and source and put together. And I think what Secureframe is doing, which is pretty incredible, is solving this problem of this like disjointed system by bringing it all into one platform. So not only do you have confidence with Secureframe being able to make sure you have all the evidence for any given framework, but it also starts to tie in these other elements that you typically would go somewhere else for and have to remember to update, like your trust center, or make sure your security training has all of the right components to it. They're really simplifying what has been deemed like a very difficult problem. The second vendor is socket.dev. So open source libraries, we all use them in our source code. Is it secure? Is the library version that I'm using secure or vulnerable? If it's vulnerable, are we affected? Is there an exploit path within the code that we're using and how we're using it? Is there potentially a supply chain type of attack, like a typo squad or one of those? I think of solutions like Dependabot, where there's just a list of vulnerable open source libraries and it's overwhelming. And developers look at it and say, I genuinely don't know where to start. And I'm not sure if I take on one of these, if it's even exploitable. I have to dig in further. I have to do that work. So I think what Socket is doing is really taking a developer first approach to solving, the concerns around supply chain and open source vulnerabilities. And that really excites me because it's developer first, but it provides security and other leaders with a dashboard and reports and the ability to very quickly understand what the security posture of our applications look like.